All right, so Qualcomm, last 9 months, 8 billion free cash flow, 8.7, rounds up to 9, I guess. So what? They'll do 12. So let's open our Intel model. This one's at least already done. More or less. I'm not sure. At steady state, I guess this is the point. This is a merger of equals. Qualcomm's about 70% bigger enterprise value. So 189 or 190 versus 110. 73% bigger. But the cash flow profiles are what's important. Maybe they make their move Monday. I'm an M&A junkie. I love this shit. I live for this shit. I love the game. You guys know what a bear hug is? I'm gonna draft a bear hug letter. The bear hug goes something like this. Dear Pat, that's the dude's name, right? Intel CEO. It was nice to talk to you on the phone the other day. As I said, then our two companies would be stronger. I've written a lot of letters like this. Together. So this is where it gets a little dramatic, right? Let's take hodlers. That's what I would write. Him, aka Himothy. Oh, I love this song so much. Okay, so let's figure out how to do this. So 25 bucks a share is not much of a premium. Let's try 30. Okay. So $30 a share, Qualcomm has to cough up $145 billion. Okay, and we're going to make two models. We're going to sort of assume that they go it alone, or we're going to do the combination model. I'm going to close out some of these other windows. So what does Qualcomm look like with and without Intel? Well, if I look at net income versus cash flow, first I have to get grounded as to whether or not one is a lot bigger than other, or at least net income versus free cash flow. So I have the 12 months right here. 11,299. Okay. So this is Qualcomm standalone free cash flow. Now I'm going to compare it to Intel's standalone free cash flow. So one of the things that Intel could do to respond to this letter is called a reverse Pac-Man. Dear Eman, you are not him. I spoke with our board. They have authorized me, along with their bankers, Goldman Sachs, to offer $200 per share for Qualcomm in all cash transaction. Why, and may the Lord be with you. That God shall send you. So that's sometimes called a reverse Pac-Man, when the small company offers to buy the big company. It hasn't been done in a long time because nobody knows how to fund anymore. But so this is this is actually not free cash flow. This is cash flow from. So this is like a mix. Let me move these. People don't know how to party. Okay, so this looks like considerably. Okay, yeah, it's not that big of a change. Remember, it's a very capital light company. Like they don't know how to they wouldn't know how to manage Intel's facilities. Like I almost think Intel should buy Qualcomm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I don't think Qualcomm will go hostile, but I'm sure their bankers are talking to them about it. Some banks won't do hostiles as well, which is kind of nuts. If you're a bank and you won't do a hostile, stay the fuck away from me. Okay, so now we kind of have to paste in Intel's cash flow. Okay, here we go. They haven't done their recent 10Q. Such a cracked out company. Even their financial statements are fucked. Look at the PP&E for Intel. This is what I'm talking about. They manage 100 bill of equipment. 100 bill. That's not even in the enterprise value. But arguably, that should be in the enterprise value, right? Why not? They paid 100 bill for that equipment. I mean, I understand the equipment value is probably not 100 bill. It's going to degrade very rapidly. But I don't know. That's they didn't pay for it to be worth less than what it is. So if I'm Intel, I'm talking about reverse the script. Okay, that's nice. You guys want to buy us, but we're fucking Intel. That's what you forgot. I'll go to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Give me a bridge loan. I need 200 Bs. Plus the U.S. government. I don't think the government's going to endorse a hostile. Maybe on a foreign company. Biden, we need your help, Joe. I need a bridge loan. All right, so what was Intel's cash flow? Okay, so they had negative cash flow last quarter. It's fucking embarrassment. Holy shit, that CapEx. Damn. Intel negative $7 billion of free cash flow just in Q1. Just in Q1. The fuck? They're really trying to go out of business. Maybe they're trying to stay in business. I don't know if they could do 40 to 45. That's a fucking lot. Is Intel worth 40 to 45? Is Intel even worth 30? We're going to do the synergies and see, but there's not a lot of synergies here. I mean, there are definitely some. There's definitely some synergy. Okay, here's the Intel's. They'd be smoking that shit if they pay 40. But Avago, I see Avago's not standing still, man. Avago is built, Broadcom is built on acquisitions. A lot of history there with Intel. If I'm Avago, I'm making an offer. Can't stop me. I ain't just gonna sit here and let this happen. And then don't forget Taiwan Semi. There's no way the FTC would ever let it happen. So I'm Taiwan Semi. I'm not sitting still. I'm picking up that phone. Calling the lawyers. Look, I know this is crazy, but Intel is in play. Should we put up a bid? And then on the other side of the country, zoom in, Santa Clara, California. A man in a leather jacket picks up the phone, calls his general counsel. Hey, Intel, what do you think? Don't do it, Jensen. You can't do that. They'll stop us. They'll arrest you. Let's fucking do it. Let's buy Intel. NVIDIA to acquire Intel. AMD? Lisa? He calls his cousin Lisa. What do you think? Oh, hell no. All right, they only lost $4 billion last quarter in free cash flow. That's not that bad. But the train was leaving the station. They actually have cash flow from operations that's positive. Yeah, Intel could do it. So real last plot twist. Okay, we have guidance for next quarter. I mean, it's going to be a similar free cash flow picture. Like, I don't know what they're investing for. They're investing for something. They want to be a fab, then they want to spin it out. Like, the fab's really fucking expensive. Running their own equipment's expensive, so they want to be their own biggest customer. The problem with Qualcomm is, what the fuck are they buying? What are they getting? They're kind of getting this mishmash. Do they want the core Intel business and spin out the fab? That's probably what I would do. Let the capital-heavy fab, you know, go get financing somewhere else. It's like a totally different model. M&A clean room. I love it. You mean data room. Put on a second leather jacket. Make the bid. The thing about Intel for NVIDIA is NVIDIA's would treat Intel as like a fucking little tuck-in acquisition. It's dilutive to earnings. Repurpose all their fabs for GPUs. We're looking at a potential transaction between Qualcomm and Intel. And if I'm the Morgan Stanley investment banker, I'm making some calls today. You know he's on the phone today calling Micron. What's up? You guys want to get involved? What's up? What's up? Talk to your board. Let's go. I need your answer by noon. That's the game. That's the real game. Corporate game. Guys don't want to be hedge fund managers when they're in that game. They'd rather play the big game. Moving mountains. You know, y'all moving pieces of paper. You know, that's when the big CEOs let their nuts hang. And they look at the hedge funds like, yeah, you might got a lot of capital. Yeah, you might got a bigger house than me. But I'm buying Intel. Preying on my downfall. I don't know anything about uranium stocks, my dude. Good luck with that, though. Don't get Bin Laden'd. Yeah, it's like, what is all this CapEx for? The revenue's not going up, so it's got to be for the fab. You got revenue going down 20 billion over the last 4 or 5 years, right? But CapEx going up 10 billion. It's not a good combo. It's not a good combo, chat. Okay, so we assume Intel nurses back to health. Let's look at free cash flow versus net income. It looks like net income is way larger than free cash flow. So we have to be a little careful here as we forecast, because we have forecasts for an Intel base case. We're going to transport those kind of to Qualcomm. So let's be very careful and surgical here. This is 2024 to 2035. Their fiscal 2024, I can kind of do this, I think. Intel's on a calendar. So we'll call this Intel net income, and we'll call this Intel free cash flow, and we'll see kind of what the delta is real quick. See, for a while it was like negative, maybe somewhat around, and then it was way above, way above. It's been way above, sort of 10 billion, 15 billion above. That'll normalize theoretically. I'm not sure why the hell they're spending like they're spending, but to really turn around Intel is going to take some time. And so like this is the bridge to free cash flow normalizing with net income. One more here. Okay, and so this is like the blend of the two. A little funky way to do it, but that's how we cook. God damn it, what's wrong with this thing? Okay. So the combined company, I'll call it NewCo. There's no way Qualcomm's not better off going it alone. Then we're going to add Synergies. Interest, it turns out, is going to be very important in these kinds of calculations. Because the company's alternative is investing in something else. And that something else could be anything. It could be the S&P, it could be buying back their own stock. Are they better off buying back $100 billion of their own stock? It's like a levered recap. Or are they better off buying Intel? And that's like a pure financial question. That's basically what a financial engineer like me would figure out. Okay, got the margins off. There we go. Okay. All right, so where are the synergies coming from? So Intel R&D would probably get cut. What the fuck are they spending on? I think they would cut Intel R&D. Wow, there's actually a ton of operating costs here. I'm not sure they can do anything on the COGS side. There's 21 billion in operating expenses. Oh, how I'd love to cut that. I'd be there firing everyone. Qualcomm cash flow. Here it is. Okay. So this gets tricky because we have to do interest expense and shares outstanding. So this is going to be fun. So Qualcomm chat right now, I would say by next quarter they'll have net cash, where are we here? Basically zero. That makes our calculations very good actually. So assume they start the transaction, they have no cash. Cool. 700 million, basically nothing. What are we offering for Intel? 30 bucks a share. So that's 145 billion enterprise value. So we need to get $73 billion of debt. And we're going to work this debt off over time. And the combined company will basically be back to cash flow, back to net cash in 2029. The shares outstanding would also go up substantially. So we have 1 billion shares outstanding right now. Our stock will take a hit on this news. There's no doubt Qualcomm would trade down substantially. But maybe it would stabilize at $150 a share. We need to raise, what, 72 billion, I said? 73? Okay, it's not that bad actually. We have to sell 486 million new shares. So Intel stockholders will get cash and they'll get roughly a third of Qualcomm. Now, that interest is going to be expensive. Rates where they are, oh gosh, what are these bonds going to trade at? 5, 6? What do you think, chat? Oh, they're definitely going to have to get rid of those fabs. I think they're going to spin out. I would be spinning out the fabs and chunking a bunch of debt with it. I don't want those fabs. 6%? 6% paper? Oof, that hurts. So I'd be going from 12 billion to 8 billion. Sort of doesn't change when I'm back in black. Okay. Shares should not change after this. Okay, so this is Qualcomm go alone. This is Qualcomm merge. Make make sure I did all this right. I'm not 100% sure. Huh. It's very, very accretive. This year is off because this should be basically the same number. So it's $8 share in earnings, which is similar to kind of what they've been printing because it's $9 billion in cash on 1 billion shares. When they merge, how do I get $4 here? Okay, so the $4 comes from Qualcomm's 9 billion, Intel's negative 3 billion. So Intel's dilutive. So NewCo's got 6 billion in free cash flow as opposed to standalone company, which would have 8 or 9. We get some synergies out of it, but those synergies are dwarfed by interest expense. So with the massive amount of new shares, it's going to look ugly. It's massively dilutive year one. But look at how fast you catch up. So look at the chart. This is really interesting. This is also very, very aggressive synergies, which may not be possible. Where's my chart? Here we go. So the blue line is Qualcomm by itself. The orange line is Qualcomm with Intel. Even at $30, it's a pretty good deal. I'm also assuming Intel gets back to profitability. I think they would basically start a new co, just call it semiconductor manufacturing company and do a spin out. So what if Intel doesn't come back? What does that look like? Let's keep the chart up there, Jamie. How bad could it get for Qualcomm? If Intel comes back and becomes a sort of a shadow of itself, profitable but not too important, it's kind of a wash. Still somewhat kind of better with Intel. It's pretty hard to see a world where you're not better with Intel unless Intel's just far gone. It's pretty accretive. My model assumed like a fairly good-sized Intel comeback, kind of what the market assumes too, by the way. Like my Intel model imputes the market's opinion. Well, actually not. My Intel model imputes a pretty good comeback. So they may not do that comeback. So a bit of a softer earnings, but still, the market's assuming Intel makes a pretty big comeback. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to undo here. There we go. Okay, what happens if they pay 40? So at $40, they'd have to cough up 94. So you can see paying 94 lowers that bar. Hope you see that. And then the share, this is going to hurt a lot because 94 billion, the stock's going to drop maybe even more. And we're issuing 648 million shares, so a bit more than before. And again, my Intel recovery assumptions, very heroic. Intel probably won't be profitable next year. Okay, in this case, at 40 bucks, without a big recovery, Intel, Qualcomm's better going alone. Let's tell the world. Intel. Micron, it would be challenging, but Micron might be able to do it. Yeah, I don't think AMD or NVIDIA can get involved. It's too toxic, even for me. And I'm a huge FTC bear. Yeah, I mean, Intel got a little too cheap. I don't know, I might do, what's his name's podcast. Intel could definitely just get better management. The board has obviously failed the company, right? Any news this weekend? Teva. Oh, they have a long-acting olanzapine. Yeah, the board has failed. It's time for a new board, new management, and it's called Qualcomm. I don't see how Avago would sit still though. Avago's got to make a move too. Avago's done so many mergers. It's really Broadcom has done so many mergers. For them to buy Intel makes way more sense. Oh, we got some girls tonight? Let's go. Couple baddies. You're fired. New chip is supposed to be good. I heard from the streets the new chip might be alright. I don't think antitrust would allow Amazon or Apple. I'm not sure they should get into that business. Apple's in a very different business, doing their own silicon. Amazon could work, but in current antitrust climate, I'd say it's like 80% likely that it gets dinged. Not many watchers are female. Most of my viewers are men. I don't think it's that low, maybe 5-10%. I don't see Dell doing it either. It's too vertically integrated. Oh, it's fascinating. I mean, these are legendary American companies at the brink of changing history. Yeah, a lot of Intel brain drain for sure. I don't like algorithmic trading. I am good at it. It's just not really my cup of tea. If I'm gonna play games, I'd rather do math or play poker. Oh yeah, let me upload everything to GitHub for y'all. To me, it's just a big math game.